a style that has evolved over his career. While people may have their critiques, love him or hate him, he is a very talented rapper.
Okay, man, one of the things about Token Citizens is I call him, he's part of the fabric of what this show is built on, the soul of this show.
In today's video, I'm going to show you my attempt at replicating this style, mixed with my own, and how I've done this and how you can do it as well. When listening to Token, it's not just a beat with lyrics, it is very clever and introspective the way he mashes up his words and constructs them together to tell a story through his rhymes. I think Token is exceptionally good at what he does, and he's very clever with it as well, while also giving some hooks that are super catchy. The newer songs that he's coming out with now are a completely 180 on his style. This is How To Token.
Hey, tell him I get the remedy in a potion. I just taught myself how to better breathe in the ocean.
This is part of my How To series where I delve into artists and genres specifically that I will break down certain songs that I've created for or beats. If you would like any suggestions of artists or genres, leave them in the comments below and I'll make a video similar to this. I've also done Mac Miller and lo-fi beats in the past if you're interested in that. This song that I've created here is best reminiscent of the style of Doozy and Code Red. So we have this bell here, which is the original sound that I started with, and it goes like... Now this does sound very Token-ish to me, and we've got a sort of complex melody here. However, if you break this down, you can see that it's not too complex. If we look at these notes, they're all part of a chord. It's just very repetitive and it's spanning over 2 octaves here. So we're basically layering and combining chords that work together in our scale. If we ignore these notes at the bottom for now, this is the main structure of our melody. And it's very repetitive and it leaves a lot of headroom to rap on. And then these notes that we just got rid of are essentially layering against these notes from our melody. So these are our bass notes. So it goes from A, E, B, A, E, B, A, and it's just repeating. So you hear it adds a little bit of that low end. And if we go to the mixer track, it's on 3 here, we can see that it does have halftime. So if we turn this off, this is what the melody sounds like, but with halftime. If you don't have halftime, you can use Cymatic's Deja Vu, which I featured in the last video. It's free and it's in the description and it's right here. So this is Deja Vu and it does the same thing as halftime. Okay, so next up we need a layer for this sound. Actually added in some horns from BBC Symphony Orchestra. So if you take a look at this is the brass horns, and this is again just a layer, but we're cutting out the sub and bass of these sounds because we want to add in our own bass. So as you can see, we've cut out the bass here. And you can already tell this is a style very reminiscent of Token. We're at 110 BPM by the way. It's fairly slow, but it gives us room to rap on. And then we've just got this little like siren texture, which is going up in an octave and down in an octave. So that's essentially our full sample here. Now the next thing that I wanted to focus on was the bass. Now the bass I wanted to be punchy and hit just once at the start of the bar, instead of other beats that have like, you know, an 808, like the Spins 808 was like... This is more like... just to give that tension. So for this we added a grainy 808 with distortion, but I also laid this with a sub bass for that sub because I didn't like the sub bass that was in our 808, so I mixed them together and it sounds like that. Now when working on the drums, we wanted them to be very like distorted and hit super hard, so I've layered 2 kicks here. We've got this God kick, which sounds like, and they're very hard hitting, but then I also have another kick which really punches through. And yeah, so our inspiration from this is Doozy and Code Red, so they're the kind of drums that we're using. Obviously Token has many various styles, so there's not one set way to do it. This is just how I interpreted it. And for this we layered 2 snares. We have one long snare, which is like reverberating and carrying the snare, and then we have another snare which is the main driving force for the hit. So that's like the hit, and with the tail it makes our own snare. Now together with the bass, the kick and the snare, it sounds like this. Now we wanted the hi-hats to be different from traditional beats. When you listen to beats, they're usually like you know what, they're like carrying on throughout the beat. This, we've done it a little more choppy. We've also chopped the drums up for this chorus section, but I'll get into that in a minute. So I've used 2 different hi-hats here. We're going to take a listen to the first one. It's a very harsh hi-hat. And it's not in a traditional pattern at all, which is what we want. We want it to be a little choppy. We want it to be a little gritty. And then we've got another hi-hat here, which is just a little subtle addition. And these two work really, really well together. When you're selecting the sounds for this beat, we want them to be a little bit gritty and experimental, and it's more about the placement for these sounds. I think the placement of these sounds is more important than the sound selection in this circumstance. Obviously they're both just as important as each other, but I mean so that you can't, if I made these drums and the hat was just the song would sound completely different. And these drums work very, very well with the chorus that I've come up with. So from there, we kind of have the main meat of the beat. So what we want to add is little subtleties and effects. So in this intro, I mixed the second bit of halftime onto our main melody here. So it sounds like a little darker. And then as this builds up, it's gonna, you know, rise in tension. The melody starts coming up. The strings are here. Yeah, so it hits nice. It's not a crazy drop, but it is good enough and it works. We didn't want it to be too crazy, like it just wants to glide in with the lyrics, you know what I mean? So yeah, we just added little sound effects. We've got like little gunshots here, just because. Sounds cool. We've got a little phone in the beginning because it entwines with the lyrics. Now when writing these lyrics, I focused a lot on the bars, the lyrical miracle bars, okay? So it is a little bit lyrical miracle rappery, but I think it turned out quite well, and I think the chorus is quite catchy. You know, I'm unparalleled with the beats and his lyrics and the type of work I put in, everyone fearing it. So yeah, I think it's sounding quite good, and it kind of tells a story as well in the beginning. And yeah, so yeah, this is my interpretation of a token type song. I would say this song would best fit in his album Between Somewhere, and is the most reminiscent of this style. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the final product. If you would like to see anybody else, let me know your thoughts on this song and anything I can do to improve. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I hear something like a phone and it rings. I feel nothing in my dome when I sing. Numb like Novocaine, let's open this tin. Something controlling me, sent through this pad and this pen. Epitome of insanity, how they petting my pen. I had to pretend to be less than a 10 out of 10 is to make you feel better than better off dead. Had to heat it up, or they talk about his breath, so I had to leave him toast. Green light gone, it's a code red like my sights on. Connect like the .com, open up the web, read it out, and it said I'm unparalleled with these beats and these lyrics and the type of work I put in everyone. I'm unparalleled, clean, neat, and perfectly literate. Hush to see me killing it. I'm unparalleled with the flows. They just boast about the hoes when I'm killing all them shows. I'm unparalleled, but they sailing the boat. Who am I to say no? 12 keys, keep it on the note. Get into the system, not a penicillin. You a virus, infiltrate like the filament. Lying through your teeth, your book of truth should be feeling it. Instead of putting words in mine, I rap with due diligence. So ahead of my time, I rap through the past tense. Like I'm prime, I got my future as a present. Don't do shit for fools like I walk back bent. Ingrained in my mind is a pad pen. So my pen padded from these words in this pad end. I rock up just like Bruce Wayne with a Batman home run. How I hit through the dome, done dead. No, now you owe me some new forged lead. Waste the bullets, that's why I aim for their head. Features taught, that's why I say with my chest. Preacher never walked, they just taught and they taught. Now listen what I said. I'm unparalleled with these beats and these lyrics and the type of work I put in everyone fearing it. I'm unparalleled, clean, neat, and perfectly literate. Hush to see me killing it. I'm unparalleled with the flows. They just boast about the hoes when I'm killing all them shows. I'm unparalleled, but they sailing the boat. Who am I to say no? 12 keys, keep it on the note.